Welcome, Director Saldana. And I thank you. I've been listening to the testimony up in my office that you presented here today. And I guess I'm very interested in this DHS Civil Immigration Enforcement Priorities, this card. So you say you carry this card with you?
Yes.
Has it been entered into the record, the card that's entered? I'd like officially to enter the card. And who has this card with them?
All our officers that are out there making these decisions.
All of your officers, so all of your ICE agents have this card with them?
Generally.
And it states the priorities of the administration. Let me ask you something. Does the lawsuit in the Fifth Circuit have any implication in terms of your ability to carry out these enforcement priorities?
The one in South Texas deals only with expanded DACA and the initiation of DAPA.
But it only has an impact on expanded DACA and DAPA.
And that's my sister agency, Citizenship and Immigration Service.
And that's your sister. So it doesn't have any impact on these priorities?
Not on enforcement.
And these are the priorities that were issued by the Secretary of Homeland Security on November 20th of last year?
Yes, sir.
So those are still in place?
Yes.
And you're carrying them out. So a couple of things. Number one, there is concern among those of us that have advocated for a changing of the priorities and am thankful for the changing of the priorities in terms of making sure that there is a clear line between ICE and immigration and local police departments. We understand that you have a new program that you have yet to unveil, PEP, I think you're calling it. We look forward to that program. I just want to state for the record, I think if somebody's selling drugs, somebody's gangbanging, somebody's out there murdering, somebody's doing harm, somebody's creating or committing a serious felony, I think we should just lock them up, give him a fair trial. But if he's found guilty, sentence him, jail him, and as soon as he's finished his jail time, deport him immediately from the United States of America. Now that's very different than if I'm driving my children to school. I've been here an extended period of time. They're American citizens, and I had a taillight out, which unfortunately secure communities and many local law enforcement departments were using. They were using secure communities as simply another way of going out and taking their immigration policies locally and saying, well, we're just going to arrest everybody that we know lives at this trailer park that probably is undocumented and works in this community, and then hand them over to you without any discretion. So I'm happy to hear your clarifications, the clarifications you made before and the clarifications you've made today in terms of making sure that there is a difference and that local jurisdictions, because many of my colleagues on the other side of the aisle will always say that the experiments of democracies are always best conducted at the local level of government. Well, at local level of government in Chicago and throughout jurisdictions in the United States of America, we do not want immigration policy carried out by our local police department. We think that that creates a division between the population and their safety and their security and the police department's ability to be able to carry out. When they say serve and protect, we wanted them to know that it's to serve and protect. So I'm very happy to see that you brought this list of priorities at each of the agents, because a group of us last week put out this Family Defender Toolkit that we are issuing. People can download it from my website and from the websites of other members of Congress. And at the bottom it says, that you can tear this out, it says, do not deport me because I'm eligible for DACA or DAPA. And then we give all of the things that people should put together just in case, because I think this is wonderful. You take the Gutiérrez toolkit on the one hand, and you put the birth certificates of your American citizen children, for example, and you put your work history, and you put your visa or your ID from your country, and if you get stopped by one of the agents, he looks at this, you've got the information, you put them together, and you're not a priority for deportation. I think that's the kind of discretion we should be using. Now, again, just so that we don't get confused, if you're driving a car and you're drunk, you go to jail and you get deported. If there's a taillight out and you're taking your children to the emergency room because they're sick, then you should be able to proceed if you can prove that you are not a threat to this society and not a threat. I'll just end with this, and I thank the gentleman for being, look, Director Saldana, you've got a tough job. You've got to keep the criminals at bay, but at the same time, you have to have an immigration policy that protects American families from the devastating effects of our broken immigration system. And I thank you for your testimony and for your incredible service to our nation as a U.S. attorney and today as the Director of ICE. Thank you so much.